Hey, what's going on, guys? Kitsune TCG here, back with another deck profile, and I figured we should do a follow-up on my Madolche Vernusylph deck, with the release of Darkwing Blast being this Friday, and the inclusion of a new Vernusylph card. Figured it'd be a good time since this one is really going to be the best one in the deck. It really does kind of just add another layer and gives you more consistency for your Madolche line. So I thought I'd just go through here, show off a quick combo before I hop on over to a deck profile. So we'll just go ahead and start here. So we do start with the new Seedling card, and that is going to be pitched with the Hoot Cake to add the Awakening Forest. And from there, we'll bring back the Hoot Cake. And then we're going to activate the Awakening Forest effect, pitching the Angeli. And then we're going to go ahead and send a Ghost Bell to the graveyard. So with Glass Souffle, we do have the ability to add that back, so that'll be definitely something that, provided you do open up a decent enough hand, you should be able to do every time you play. So since this hand is definitely going to get us to that point, that is what we're going to send to the grave. And then we'll bring back the Angeli. So what's nice about this is, despite the fact that we discarded these two cards, thanks to the Vernusylphs, they can just be brought right back, and they are not negated, so we can actually just go ahead and activate Angeli's effect to start your Madolche plays. And what's nice is we kind of went through everything we needed to, and we can just go ahead and go into Petting Cessor. We did happen to draw the Pudding Cess, which is unfortunate, but you know, it happens sometimes, so might as well just kind of show it off. And it doesn't even stop the deck from playing, since Petting Cessor can special from hand. Now we're going to go from there into the Glass Souffle. To be honest, this could be any one of your rank 4 Madolches, because we're not going to activate it right away, seeing as we already had the Angeli in grave. And we're just going to go straight on into the Chocolate Mode. And we'll go Chocolate Mode effect to shuffle back that Angeli that was in grave. And since we already control a Hoot Cake, we can actually just go ahead and bring out the Messengelato. Messengelato will obviously go ahead and start with the Field Spell. And then we're actually going to go ahead and fire Hoot Cake first, banishing the Glass Souffle, just so we can get that second Messengelato and get another spell or trap search first. And we're actually going to just grab the Salon first, just because we are going to be able to activate it to get the set of the trap. So we'll make sure we have it activated first, and then we'll go ahead and link into Fresh Sistart. And now that we have some more Madolches in grave, we can actually go ahead and activate Chateau. And Chateau will trigger, shuffling back those two cards. And that's going to go ahead and trigger Salon, but it's also going to trigger Chocolate Mode. So you do want to be careful here, since Chocolate Mode does happen second here. If you were to go into something like Messengelato, you wouldn't be able to activate its effect, but since we don't need that anymore, that's not what we're going to do. We're just actually going to go ahead and bring out a Mageline, and while it won't get its effect here, because we are going to go ahead and go into the link for Glass Souffle, that'll be the one that will detach, because we're actually going to be able to add it back. So yeah, so we'll go into there, we'll detach here, and then we'll go ahead and go Glass Souffle's second effect as well. And that is going to be to shuffle back two cards. And the two cards that you're going to want to target are going to be the Mageline and the Ghost Bell. And since, you know, we have Chateau up, we are just going to be able to add them back to hand. And so that's actually going to be the end board right here. So we have a negate in the trap. We also have a monster negate in Imperm. We're going to have the Glass Souffle for an interruption. And then we also have a Ghost Bell as well to kind of prevent any anything from happening in the graveyard. So overall, the inboard is pretty nice. It wasn't the best hand, so the fact that kind of not ending on the best hand ended on a pretty decent board is going to be something that, really kind of just takes Madolche to that next level. Where they end up in the meta, time will kind of tell once the set releases, but definitely a very exciting card that has really just kind of brought this deck to a kind of whole new level in terms of compatibility. So I'm just going to go ahead and hop on over to the deck list and kind of show you what the ratios I'm running. It's a 41 card build, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. I did kind of show off a hand where the one of Imperm was drawn, but, that's fine. It'll happen sometimes, but, we do have plenty of kind of hand traps that kind of go along with that. So we do have 3 Petting Cessor, 3 Angeli. We're doing just the 2 Mageline, just because you have so many other ways to kind of get into the board that you want. I don't think that it's necessary at 3 anymore, and then we're just kind of a few other cards that I would prefer playing. And like I said, just because of those Vernusylph cards, we're now able to run a mass amount of hand traps, which I think is definitely going to help, elevate this deck to kind of keep it in a competitive area. You only need the 2 Messenger Gelato, the same with the 2 Hoot Cake, and then the 1 of Pudding Cess. Now we are still running 3 of the Flourishing Hills. I think that it's fine at 3. I guess you could maybe take this down to 2 if you really wanted to push 40 cards. But I think 3 is totally fine as well. And then we are running 3 of the new one, the Seedling. This one is excellent. You kind of saw how it was used in the combo. Just being able to, pitch itself and another card, and then just being able to summon that card back really kind of just helps you go from there. And then you're also adding a, Earth Fairy from deck. So excellent card, really helps this deck out. And then since we do now have the new Seedling, previously we were running 3 of the Flourishing Hills and 2 of the Awakening Forest, but with more targets in deck, we were able to take this one down to 1, and it is still very useful. From there we do have quite a nice hand trap lineup. We do have 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 3 Crow, and then the 1 of Ghost Spell. Obviously, the only reason why you need 1 of this is because it's an Earth, and we're going to be able to add that back through our combo. The 3 Prosperity, this is just going to add more consistency to this deck, which already does a really good job at being consistent, so maybe that'd be another thing that could take it down to 2 if you really want to go down to 40 cards. And then I do have the 2 Crossout, which is where I did bring in the 1 of Imperm. The deck is great. The new cards do kind of give it an ability to play through some form of interruption, but because we're able to have a more concise engine and add hand traps, this is something you can add that I don't think takes away from any consistency. So that's why we've just got it at 2. If you see it, great. If you don't, it just kind of depends on what your opponent has. And then the 1 of Called By, obviously, is going to be a better job at stopping most hand traps outside of, Imperm and whatnot. Then we have the 1 of Salon. I think you still need 1 of this. You're going to be able to add it off of your combo pretty much every time. Sometimes you'll draw it, but don't need to see more than 1. Same with the Chateau. And I've still cut Ticket. I think it's a good card, but, you kind of saw through the combo. You weren't missing it. So it's definitely something you can add if you want, but I really think that it's not necessary at this point in the deck's life. The 2 Promenade, and then the 1 of Imperm. Moving on over into the extra deck, we've got the 3 Glass Souffle, and then just the 2 Queen Tiramisu, and same with 2 Chocolate Mode. Really think that's all you need to run for the Madolche Exceeds. We have the 1 of Abyss Dweller. This isn't going to come up too often just because a lot of your things are going to lock you into, Earths or Madolches, but you will find some opportunity where this can be summoned, and especially against Tree Element, it is a good option. Now we do have a little bit of a Zeus package, so this is going to be able to be used on top of your Chocolate Mode, and then you just be able to slap the Zeus on it from there. So we also have 2 Fresh to start. Definitely don't need more than 2, but you do sometimes need more than 1, so this card is obviously going to help, protect you against a lot of things, so you definitely want to make sure this is part of your inboard. And then we do have a little bit of kind of a new portion of the deck. We have IP, Appaloosa, and then Crusadia Avermax. Because of Seedling, there are some opportunities where before you get locked into Madolches, you're actually going to be able to end on an IP Masquerena. And then that just kind of gives you a little bit more, flexibility. So we have the 2 link 4s because, you're going to be able to link off your fresh Sistart plus the IP. Sometimes you're going to need the 2 monster negates, but sometimes, just having a really big monster that's going to be hard to out also is going to come in pretty big handy. So I think that either one of those is fine. I don't think that, you're not really tight on extra deck space. So I think that it's totally fine to have these 2. You can try some other things if you'd like. And then as far as like the side deck, I have included it, but I think it just kind of depends on how the format plays out for what would be played in the side. But for right now, I think the 2 Fenrir and the Pinkertops, that's going to be pretty much guaranteed in this deck just because they do kind of mesh well with being Earths themselves. And then we have the 3 Dark Ruler. Again, I think this is probably going to be something that you'll see no matter what, how things play out. And I've got 2 Lightning Storm and a Harpy's Feather Duster. Got the 3 Gozen match just because everything you're going to be summoning, for the most part, is going to be a Earth monster, so I think those are totally fine to have. And then we have 3 Solemn Judgment, just kind of a little bit more going first option. This would probably be the one thing that I would change for the most part in this deck, but pretty happy overall with this list. Kind of been testing it out and, really excited to be able to take this to locals once Seedling is released. But anyway, let me know down below, what you think of the new cards. If you're going to pick up the new, Madolche deck and give it a try, I think it's definitely something that's very fun. Where it plays out competitively, we'll just kind of have to wait and see, but I will see y'all next time.